Gender Inequality in the Workplace by Ashley Harvey for Business Law at Appalachian State University. Gender inequality overall is a very important issue. Women make up nearly half of the workforce, but in the workplace, gender inequality can lead to many problems. Gender inequality can lead to lower wages for women in equal jobs as men. Women are less likely to be promoted compared to men co-workers. Women are discriminated against during pregnancy and while they have young children. Women can be discriminated against for being too masculine. Women are also subject to sexual harassment in the workplace. It is also harder for women to get into male-dominated fields. Gender inequality affects more than just women. When women aren't given the same pay or opportunities as men, it can affect their families. Currently, women make 78 cents per every dollar men make on average. This wage gap is even worse for African Americans, Latinos, and other minorities. This graphic shows the wage gap for specific fields. The worst field is natural resources, construction, and maintenance, which is a male-dominated field with only 4% of workers being women, and they only make 67 cents per dollar earned by every man. The field with the lowest pay gap also has the highest percentage of women employees, which is sales and office-related fields. Women working in that field earn 81 cents for every dollar earned by men. The Pentagon recently announced that starting in 2016, all combat roles will be open to women in every branch of the military. This means that the 3 women who recently completed the Army Ranger School can now join the 75th Ranger Regiment, whereas before they were not permitted to. Recently, the gender wage gap and lack of underrepresentation of women, both on-screen and behind the camera in Hollywood, has been brought to the public's attention. A few actresses have used award ceremonies to talk about this issue. This graphic shows the wage gap between the highest paid actors and actresses between June 2014 and June 2015. The gap ranges between $28 million and $14.5 million. The current laws that affect gender inequality in the workplace consist of case law and statutory law. The Equal Pay Act of 1963 requires that men and women be given equal pay for equal work in the same company. This act has been law for over 50 years, yet there is still a wage gap. The Title VII of the Civil Rights Act prevents employees from discriminating on the basis of sex, race, color, natural origin, and religion in the workplace settings and for wages for the same or similar jobs. Title VII has also been around for 50 years, yet the wage gap and inequalities are even larger for women of color and minorities. The Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act of 2009 allows people who have faced wage discrimination to make a claim within 180 days, regardless of when the discrimination began. This act is going to help make it easier for women to file claims against their employers, no matter when they found out about their discrimination. Phillips versus Martin Marietta Corporation made it so women who have or are having children cannot be discriminated against. Men who have children are rarely discriminated against. In this case, make sure the women are not either. In Pricewaterhouse v. Hopkins, the Supreme Court found that employers cannot discriminate based on sex stereotypes. This ruling means that make sure that a woman isn't discriminated against for wearing pants instead of a dress or skirt, or for not wearing enough makeup to look feminine. There have not been many recent cases or developments in the workplace gender equality laws. Not all cases have gone towards gender equality. Some cases, like Betty Dukes v. Walmart and Vance v. Ball State University, have sided on the side of big business. Women have come a long way since there were limits on how many hours women could work in the early 1900s. Women as of 2014 account for 19% of chief executives and 40% of managers. What needs to come next is closing the wage gap even more. As more women get into higher roles in companies, they could have the ability to influence hiring, promotions, and pay so that the companies become more gender equal. The article Working for the Women, Female Managers and the Gender Wage Gap takes a closer look at this idea. Overall, from several studies, it seems that when women are more represented in management, there is less gender inequality. It also points out that there is a strong link between the gender of the business owner and the gender composition of their employees, which from my personal experiences seems pretty accurate. We also need to create more diversity in the jobs women work by making those jobs more accessible. In conclusion, there are several steps that need to be taken to reduce gender inequality in the workplace. We need to work on closing the wage gap even more. Companies need to also promote qualified women and men equally. We also need to create easier access for women to get into male-dominated jobs like the ones shown. Thank you for watching my presentation.